Okay. Thank you so much for coming out. I really am touched, you know. I know on Maui, most of us are really great at enjoying great parties and all the wonderful things, you know, wonderful nature and a wonderful community. And here we have something on our plate that's a challenge, and facing it, we need to go through the discomfort of not having all the answers, what's going to work, and it's going to put us through feelings, you know, it's going to put us through some fear, I imagine, some, you know, some anger, all of that kind of stuff will come up around it. And I wanted to speak to my experience and about my experience and my vision and inspiration about how we can find a way to really make this effective and also effective and also a process that is personally useful and nourishing for us. First of all, I wanted to tell you of, you know, some of you just saw this movie for the first time, so I'm imagining it's kind of like, oh my God, I didn't know it was this bad. Is that true for anybody here? Are you kind of a little depressed about the whole thing? Yeah. So I wanted to tell you, first of all, a beautiful story. We got involved a few years ago in the being activist around the whole sonar issue with the whales. And the way that happened was that Marsha Green was a very courageous woman who said, I've got to speak for the whales, I've got to stand up for the whales. This, you know, she just felt it in her heart, and she went out and she actually sued the Navy for using sonar that was so strong that you know, the whales would get bleeding in their ear or brain. I don't know exactly how that works, but anyways, it was basically a death sentence for them because they couldn't orient themselves after that. So she had figured out how the levels should be reduced to something that was acceptable, and she needed support. I mean, her standing there as a single individual just wasn't going anywhere. So she came here, and there was a gathering, and there were only about 20 people, and she said, I need support, I need the community to stand behind me to make a difference. And at first, well, I looked around and it didn't look like anybody was really picking up the ball, and so we had the white printer, we had the email list, we could reach thousands of people, and so we said, well, I guess it's us. And it was just doing something from the heart without, you know, counting on any particular result, but just doing it because I felt this is the right thing to do. We've got to do something. We'll just do it, just as a love offering, you know, just let's see, not even counting on a certain result. And we did the sign waving thing. We turned it into a party. We didn't get angry around it. We were there. We were there informing people. We were, you know, we had some drumming and dancing, and we were waving, and we were showing it. So we got some public attention. And just to make a long story short, over time, more and more people found out about it. And we had a hearing, and a bunch of people came and all spoke from their heart about how they felt about the whole thing. And it got in, eventually there was a ruling where the judge actually decided to go with Marsha Green's proposal to put a lid on the levels. So this is a success story, and I just wanted to show you. I was totally amazed because we were maybe 15 people that actually got active. and then 30 people that came out at the hearing. So, and a bunch of, you know, it going out into the news. So just to let you know, we can make a difference, and I think it's one of the biggest trances that we get into when we sit in front of television and we see what all is going on in the whole wide world, and we just feel so overwhelmed that what can little old me get done, you know? And so I want to encourage us to actually follow our heart and do and connect with what it is that we have to give. What is our particular skill? What is our particular vision? What is our passion? And just bring it forward so that we can all enjoy it together, that we can all throw it into one big pot and come up with really, amazing, new, inspired action. So that's a positive story. Then on the other hand, Bruce was already touching on it. It was like when we went to the county to say, listen you guys, there's something going on I think you would want to know about. They were practically traumatized by how they had been approached around it. Yeah, so people would go there, they would blame, they would be angry, they would be, and I mean, just put yourself in their shoes. Do you feel like listening to someone when you're getting screamed at? It's a little hard, So just wanting to bring up this issue that it's so important where we take action from. I don't even believe this whole, secret thing. You probably all saw the movie The Secret. That is still like try to create something from the mind. The mind is a polarized instrument. If we don't, if we work just with the mind, we can pull towards us what we want, but what we don't want comes from the back. So the possibility is, I'm finding that everything that I've done in all these years to come to know what's our true nature, where is really our own core, and how can we rest our attention at home as spaciousness, as conscious awareness, as freedom, or however you want to call it, as unconditional love. Every single step that I've taken in that direction now comes in handy in actually creating positive action in the world. So what I'm inspired about is that we as community of people who are concerned, who care enough to come to a meeting like this, that we can come together and create a community of people that is actually really nourishing, where we are really holding the space of unconditional love for ourselves, for each other, and making it a nourishing environment when we come together, where we really support ourselves and each other, and at the same time have an experience of what it looks like when we all come together and say, well, I have this inspiration, I have this idea, or I have this particular gift. So that's the piece that I wanted to mention to you. So my vision is that it would be nice to come together like once a month, at least. Maybe some subgroups that we're going to be, creating here shortly, or that you can join wherever you feel most called, or wherever you feel like you might be able to make the greatest difference. You might want to get together more often or whatever, but my idea is that it could be something that really grows, and where we come together and it could be a little bit more cozy than today. We could actually be more like in a circle. We could be a little closer together. And we can make these meetings really beautiful, you know. We can combine it with a potluck, and we could, you know, get going with a little dance, or, you know, we can create it in a way, we can have a beautiful guided meditation, really help us drop in a whole different way. You know, different people can contribute something that way. I certainly would be inspired to do that. And then bring together what we have done in the meantime and take it to the next level. And I envision that the chemtrails, only one of the things we're going to be taking care of. But what I find is important is that we put all our energy together, and that we take this as an opportunity to get to the next level with, you know, co-creation. Because the key is really co-creation. Our whole conditioning has been in the Western world to be competitive and me first, and you see where that is bringing us, to the brink of global suicide, yeah? So it's really time that we get to explore firsthand this new paradigm of how we can co-create, how we can come together, how we can actually use this problem as something to grow from, as something to thrive with and get creative with. So that's my piece.